Yeah, today I wanted to talk about this topic of INTJ obsession because in my sphere of friends, I guess, or acquaintances, definitely a lot of people mistype themselves for various types, and definitely a few people mistype themselves as INFPs, but like in my circle of acquaintances, definitely the most common mistype is various types, all kinds of types, typing themselves as INTJ. Why? We're gonna talk about it now. One telltale sign that you're probably not an INTJ is so I go to this meetup for people who love discussing MBTI. Yeah, so a lot of people are saying they're INTJ, and some of them are, but like a lot of them are not. And one of the signs is when they're overly obsessed with this stereotypical INTJ persona, like the like dark, brooding, like world domination, whatever. So as soon as they become very animated and enthusiastic in speaking about this very persona, I'm just like, that is pretty ironic because it's not that easy for an INTJ to get like really passionate talking about something, especially talking about their like dark identity. Like if you really do have a dark identity, you probably want to hide that. Especially as like a TE and I strategy, you don't want everyone to know that you're like literally. I'm not even joking. Literally, some of these guys are saying, "Well, I am an INTJ because I'm constantly plotting to take over the world." Not an exaggeration. They literally say, "I'm plotting to take over the world." I'm like,
ugh, yeah, I hate that so much. Yeah, I don't know where this, yeah, I think I've talked about this like before, this whole world domination thing, but I mean, like before like getting into MBTI at all, it's not like as a little INTJ I was like, ah, mahaha, world domination. This was something I like stumbled upon like in the MBTI community. I'm like, oh, okay. Do I want world domination? I don't know. I mean, I get the analogy of just like that we kind of have these long-term plans and we want to like execute it in a logical and maybe sometimes kind of cold, way, but that's okay. I think that's exactly what it is. It's like this sort of being attached to this identity. And I don't know, I think why MBTI is so helpful is because you can kind of use it as this tool for self-understanding and also understanding other people and maybe how you interact and how you interact just with the world in general. So yeah, using it just to kind of like boost your ego and be like, oh yes, I'm this evil genius mastermind is like besides the purpose. It doesn't do you any good at all.
like some people pick their MBTIs as if they're like picking an outfit. Because I was telling this guy who was obviously like an FE user, I'm like, yeah, sorry, not an INTJ, man. Okay, first of all, he was really like defensive. Like that's another thing. If you're really sure about your MBTI, you don't need to defend yourself towards a random person such as me. Like so, he was quite perturbed that I said that I don't think he is an INTJ. He was like very disturbed by this, and he kept like trying to convince me that he was. And the really funny part was like, well, I think you're wrong and that I am an INTJ because I just identify with an evil genius. And I'm like, no, he literally said that. He's like, I identify with being an evil genius. I'm like, oh my god, can I just punch something?
Yeah.
I always say punch something, not punch someone, because, yeah.
In my experience in interacting with other INTJs, yeah, I've never heard a real INTJ say anything about world domination. I don't think. It's always like, yeah, it's always a mistyped INTJ. Well, I don't want to say that as like a complete rule, but I mean,
You guys might say it like ironically, but anyway, the term is, what they say is besides the point, right? The point was that they like this identity, so they're attaching themselves to the identity, whereas MBTI is really about cognitive functions, and it's not even about picking your functions, it's about what you have.
yeah. Yeah, and in the end, there's really nothing actually that inherent about NI and TE and FI and SE that is like evil genius, It's it's just this weird played out caricature of some sort of stereotype, so
And the weird thing is everyone's like so proud of being evil. Like, haha, I'm an evil INTJ. I'm like, get out of here. Can you just like stop?
So I think why maybe a lot of people type as INTJs is, first of all, I think being an introvert right now is kind of fashionable. And people who mistype as INTJs might also be introverts, but just generally in the last few years there's been so many like listicles like why you're an introvert. So I think there's this sort of propped up like special snowflake identity of introversion recently. There's definitely the case with that, with intuition as well, especially in the MBTI community. And honestly, I think that's actually something we as an MBTI community have to work on, that like, you know, we should value sensors, and sometimes intuitives have this like elitist attitude towards sensors, like, oh, we're smarter, we're better generally, or whatever. So, you know, that's not true. And I think just people want to be intuitive, again, because it makes them feel more special. And I think T and J just might be something that like our work culture kind of encourages. It encourages you to be kind of rational, and encourages you to, you know, be very decisive and punctual, and all these kind of stereotypical behaviors that the MBTI tests ask you on whether you're a perceiver, a judger, or a thinker, or a feeler. If people got into the cognitive functions more, they might actually see that they don't really match up with the INTJ. And one last thing I think is just all of the 4 letters combined creates this type that people know is like one of the more rare types. And so I think people are like, oh yes, I know I'm that different, that I'm only like 1% of the population or something like that.
Oh my god.
Honestly, like I think if you're honest with yourself as an INTJ, I think you might actually think that the world is like more difficult for maybe like, I don't know, like NFPs or maybe even like some SPs or something like that. Like at least we have some things that are valued by society, so I don't think we should really like, I don't know, create ourselves as such misunderstood outcasts that we're so special and no one no one understands our ordeal.